Okay.
Okay. Once again, welcome to the Subcommittee Committee of the West Contra Costa Unified School District. My name is James Sanders. I'm the chair. Today is August 18th. Time now is 6:05. Or for those of us that use the 24-hour clock, 18:05. We take roll and make sure that we have a quorum so we can conduct our business. Among the committee, James Sanders is here, Mr. Gosney.
Here.
Mr. Ritzila.
Here.
Mr. Kuczynski.
Present.
Ms. Tom.
Here.
Mr. Kellogg.
Present.
Ms. Wu. She Wu. Eli Moore.
Yeah.
Kevin McCarrion.
Here.
Pedro Agredano.
Present.
With 9 of the 10 members of the committee present, we have a quorum. And the next thing on the agenda, pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen.
Okay. By board policy, I have to go through certain readings, and the first is the land acknowledgement. We recognize that we are presently on the lands of the Choctaw, Wakwekma, Parkin, Ohlone peoples, and acknowledge them as the first inhabitants. The waiver of body recognition, I acknowledge that the burden of environmental exploitation and systemic injustice falls upon the waiver of black and brown bodies in the building of this country and its institutions. I remember that black and brown people were born and died working this land against their will for generations. I also acknowledge the community contribution of the labor of survivors over the centuries through today. The all immigrant labor, including voluntary, involuntary, traffic, forced, and undocumented peoples in the building of what we refer to as the United States. And the author of that is Dr. Michelle Rogers Carter. The next order of business is the approval of the agenda. So would you all please turn in your packets to page 257 and page 3 and 4 of 57. And take a few moments to review them. I'll set my little timer for the
James.
yes, sir. Oh, thank you. Let the record show that Mr. Boone, there's, Brian. And there's some committee president.
I'd like to move that we approve the agenda for tonight.
Second.
It's been moved by Ms. Collins and seconded by Mr. Kellogg, that the agenda be approved, Mr. President. There any objection? There is no objection, the agenda is adopted. Thank you very much. Approval of meeting minutes. We have quite a few meeting minutes that Mr. Gosney has prepared. And I trust that everyone has read through them. If you would like, we could allocate again 3 minutes each. We can review them and put 7 minutes up to a vote and just go straight to the vote. And we need to review the minutes.
I'm prepared to move that we approve all of the minutes.
I second it. I have one small correction.
And Mr. Kellogg.
We can. So, this is page 21 of the packet.
Can you give us the meeting?
Yes, it is the July 16th, 2024. It is line 190. Thank you for the numbering, by the way.
Give me a second, please.
Of course. 21 and 57. The master packet numbering. It's
Okay, and line number.
line number 190.
Okay.
It should read, Mr. Gosney suggested replacing advisory committee with, insert the word with, 7-Eleven committee. Otherwise, I would like to compliment Mr. Gosney for making all the other changes that I requested, but that one got missed.
Okay, I'll amend my motion to include that correction.
Second.
All right, the motion's been amended and seconded to approve the one correction on page 21 and 57. We have a motion to approve all the minutes as presented in the packet. Discussion?
I would actually request that we do each one by date. Just as a standard of. Not to really discuss or break them down, but then each one can be voted on individually. If you have reason to want to abstain, you will be able to do so. Otherwise, you have to abstain to all of them, and you may agree with particular minutes.
Okay, let me address the makers of the motion. Ms. Thomas?
I think if anybody has an objection to any of them, they can, in their vote, say that they abstain for whatever dates.
Presented.
Yeah, I have personal issues with approving minutes that I was not actually part of. That is what my issue is. So I would prefer to abstain from all the 2024 minutes and et cetera. The 2026 minutes, I have no problem approving because I was present and I know exactly what was there.
What if we split the votes up into two votes then?
Okay, I'll amend my motion that we approve all of the minutes in 2024 for 2024.
And that's one motion. Mr. McEwen?
Yeah, that's seconded.
And it's been moved and seconded that the motion be amended to first address the 2024 minutes.
Questions? Approving minutes means what? We are, like, if we weren't there, we can't verify that they're accurate, so what is this?
It means that the minutes can be attached to the report to the board and we can move forward. The thing that has been in the roadblock.
Yeah, the
This is that the minutes were not approved and therefore not attached, and so the whole task is completed, so it doesn't need approved. That's all we're trying to do. With respect to the content of the minutes can be amended at any time. So if some error is discovered or some addition is to be made with respect to any set of minutes, that can be addressed in the meeting, and we can attach it. Mr. Goss?
Quite standardly, the position is that the video, even though you're not in attendance, the video is there so you can read the minutes and watch the video at the same time to verify whether it's accurate or correct. You don't actually have to be there in person.
Okay.
It's an option.
Okay, very good. Any other comments? All right, so let me go through the roll, so we record the votes. And, so this is with respect to the 2024 minutes only. And I'm going to do this in this order. Mr. Aguadano,
Yes.
Mr. McCarty,
Yes.
Mr. Moore,
Abstain.
abstain. Mr. Chief?
Although I agree with the gentleman over there, we can put in minutes that the meetings we have attended, but we did not put any minutes, we did not define.
So are you voting to approve them, or are you taking an abstention?
Take an exception.
Abstention. Okay. Mr. Kellogg,
Aye.
Ms. Toms,
Yes,
Mr. Crescenzi,
Abstain.
Mr. Antila,
Yes.
Mr. Dawson,
Yes.
and Mr. Sanders, yes. So, 1, 2. 7. All right, we have 7 votes in the affirmative. As recorded. Does that tally with your count, Mr. Dawson?
Yes, it does. 703.
Okay, very good. So the motion passes.
okay, I'll move that we approve the June 22nd, 2026 and July 6th, 2026 minutes, subject to the modification that was requested earlier.
Actually, my
Oh.
application was July 16, 2024.
Okay,
So it was
thank
built
you.
in.
Okay, thank you. Okay,
I second.
Okay, it's been moved by Ms. Tom and seconded by Mr. Kellogg. And so, once again, I'm going to call the roll. Mr. Aguadon,
Yes.
Mr. McCarty,
Yes.
Mr. Moore,
Yes.
She Wu. I'm never sure which is the first or last name, you know?
First thing is, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Mr. Kellogg,
Aye.
Ms. Tomlin,
yes,
Mr. Crescenzi,
Aye.
Mr. Renfro,
Yes.
Mr. Dawson.
Yes.
I vote yes, so it's unanimous.
Well done.
Thank you all.
Mr. Sanders, may I have a big comment? Sure, please. I apologize. I intended to have a lot more of these. I had some serious health issues over the past 5 weeks. That debilitated me. I couldn't hardly breathe. I took a serious fall. But now this is technically our 20th meeting. We still have 9 sets of minutes to bring up. And I think 4 or 5 of those I've already got drafted. I just need to go back over the video to make sure that they're accurate. They're from a couple of years ago. And so we should be able to get these things knocked out. And also, I've discussed with a few people, what is best? Bring 20 sets of minutes to you all at once, or bring 5 or 6 at a time? And consensus was just kind of parse them out a little bit, so you're not overwhelmed with having to go through 300 or 350 pages of minutes. Thank you.
Okay. Now we're at the, public comment.
Before we move on, I noticed that our attorney's not here. Could you introduce the gentleman to the group?
This is Mr. Close. He's a friend of Mr. Gosney, and he's a resident of El Cerrito.
And
We have-
a member of the Citizen Bond Oversight Committee. The Western Coast Committee. Thank you, sir.
And here is a member of the community.
Okay. Let me just go through the reading of the participating in the public meeting. The public will have different opportunities to address the committee. the public can address the committee during public comment and before an action or discussion item. The public can provide comments in person via the Zoom app or by telephone. Public comment will last approximately 10 minutes, that is, we have allotted 10 minutes. The time allotted for each speaker is 2 minutes. If you are attending the meeting in person, you will need to submit a request to address the board form to indicate your desire to speak during the public comment on a non-agenda item before the agenda item begins. If participating via Zoom, you will need to raise your hand by clicking the appropriate icon in the Zoom app or by pressing *9 if joining by phone. No yielding of time or substitution of speaker is permitted. The public will have an opportunity to make public comments on agenda items after the presentation for each discussion and action item. The time allotted for public comment on each action or discussion item and items not discussed on the agenda will be no more than 10 minutes and 2 minutes per speaker. Due to the Brown Act, committee members cannot discuss items not on the agenda and do not usually respond to items presented in public comments. Special accommodations upon request of the district, disability-related modifications or accommodations, including auxiliary aids or services, will be provided. Please contact facilities office at 510-307-4545 at least 48 hours in advance of the meeting. So, members of the public are invited to speak on any matter related to the 7-11 committee at this time. Members of the public may speak on individual items of interest in the agenda as the items are discussed. And so, I'm looking around here for hand. Mr. Costa, do you want to address the committee?
Yes, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate the time to talk about the Portola site. It's a very important site to the city of Cerrito. It's really, it's where all the assets of the city are located. The Cerrito is the park, the swim center, across the street, and there's a major public parking facility. What I would like to suggest as another recommendation to the board is to swap the Portola site for the Fairmont Elementary site. And both sites are zoned public land. This county or the school board is certainly going to be in a position to remodel, reconstruct the Fairmont site, which is really necessary. If you look at one of the reasons I joined the CBOC is to help and learn more about all the construction projects and make sure these were being, executed properly. I came in under Don's, his leadership, learned a lot that Don knows a lot about the bond program and a lot of other things. But most importantly is that this site is a strategic site for El Cerrito. It would be a strategic site. The library site is a strategic site, I believe, for the school. Two of the board members voted or supported the measure to remove the site from where the school library, the county city library is from, to another site. So I think ultimately the best use of that property is for the school that can annex that and make it part of the Fairmont site. And because if you look at the things that happen at Lake Elementary or at Stage, I mean, there are such wonderful opportunities for families and students in the community to really become integrated into with the facilities and the center of learning. Fairmont is definitely remodeling. Only $6 million has been spent on Fairmont. That's the 1990 bond programs passed. 28 million was spent on Harding, the other elementary school in El Cerrito. They have had these $50 million projects. So it's really a matter, I think, of equity and fairness that Fairmont students and families receive the same consideration. So It's an ideal win-win situation for the city and for the school board and the community especially. And, one of the things that I think your recommendations need to keep in mind that is that the city of El Cerrito is the agency, has all the agency. Nothing gets done with anything you're proposing until the city of El Cerrito rezones the property. So for that reason, I think it would be great to have the city and the school board make connections, start talking about it, because without the city rezoning the property, nothing will transact.
We have another public comment.
Okay.
Stephen,
Where do you want me to go?
anywhere you like.
Hi, good afternoon, meeting. I'm commenting on the Adams site.
Who's your name?
Stephen Dobbins.
Okay.
It should be on the record. Right?
Yes.
I live across from Adams Middle School. What was Adams Middle School? I just want to comment on your council said at the July 6th meeting, there are plenty of opportunities for that site. And my main interest, our main interest, you should have received a letter with at least 20 signatures. That you received it, right?
Correct.
And I don't know if you guys read it yet, but just an economic impact analysis of the site, the options. Really want to make sure the community is involved with learning that. Also, for the record, or whatever the words may be, would like to know how many people from the community are here at Seaview. Or I don't know who else, you're a member of the community. Yeah. And I don't know how many are online. So we do want more clarity on when the meetings are happening. We were all set for on the 17th, but a lot of people could not make it. So just let us know when the next meeting is. And just if there's an economic impact analysis, we'd like to know, and we'd like to be involved. And I think I'm under 2 minutes. Am I?
And your full name is Stephen Dobbins, right?
Even Michael Dobbins.
Yeah. Next.
This is for item D. No, on the action items.
No more online.
None at this time.
Mr. Sanders,
Yes.
just for the record, you want to invite any public comment on the minutes? And the horse is out of the barn, but
Yeah.
at least I can write in the minutes that you asked.
Sure. Is there any public comment on this?
I see no hands at this time.
Do we have any time? Okay.
Thank you.
President. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is, a matrix analysis. Mr. Hickey is the presenter, it's not necessarily, agenda, but, in our discussions, Mr. Hickey, showed me his, matrix, which will appear in your packet on page 53 and 57. So if you turn to page 53 and 57. And, what Mr. Hickey, explained, the purpose of this. By the way, Mr. Hickey sits next to, Ellen Cooper, and he is the director of, engineering, I believe. And he has an extensive resume, he's online, so if anyone wants to read what his career. That's impressive. I don't know if that's Mr. Hickey.
Thank you, Mr. Sanders, and I do apologize. I have my times mixed up. This is, as many of you know, this is the first day of school opening up. So it's been quite busy for all of our staff. And so been busy all day. And I thought I was getting here at 6:30, but the meeting actually started at 6, so I do apologize. As Mr. Sanders says, I'm the new executive director over engineering. Myself and Mr. Sanders met, and Ellen has done a great job of giving me some history of this committee, what you have been trying to accomplish on behalf of the district and the community and the students. And I applaud all of you for taking your time out to be a part of this committee because it's extremely important. that we finish this work on behalf of the district. And in some of these conversations, what has been conveyed to me that there are challenging moments, and sometimes when you have very smart people in the room and everybody's passionate about their perspective and their opinion, sometimes the goal becomes more challenging. And over the years, I have learned that if I have a method or a process that helped me through those moments, it has given us, my organization, some success. So what I wanted to offer to this committee, when we come to those moments where there are competing opinions, competing perspectives, there's a process that we could use. And I didn't create this process. I had just been using it for years. It's actually on page 57. I'm sorry, 53 in your packet. It's called the SWOT analysis. Right. And SWOT is just an acronym for strength, weaknesses, opportunity, and threat. So when you have competing opinions, you just, okay, what's the strength of your argument? What's the weakness in your argument? What's the opportunity in it? What's the threat in it? And if you draw a line, those top two, strength and weaknesses are internal. Opportunities and threat are external. So what are your internal strengths? What are your internal weaknesses? What are your external opportunities? What are the external threats? So oftentimes, what is a strength and a weakness for the district, which is internal, it may not confide with what the community wants, what their interests may be. And that's where you consider the opportunities and the threats. And you have everybody give their strength, everybody gives their weaknesses, everybody considers their opportunities, everybody considers their threats. And you look at everyone's opinion, and you try and come down to narrow it down to what are the things that are most important, and then how do we move through this particular item. So for an example, let's do a live example. So let's take any particular site. Let's say Harmon Knowles. What is one of the opinions? What are one of the considerations that this committee has come up with on how we should surplus that particular property? Yes.
Can I make a friendly suggestion?
Yes.
We haven't talked about Harmon Knowles. This committee, the history of this committee is basically this is a new committee.
Okay.
So it'd be better to talk maybe about the Portola site.
Okay.
Because we all are familiar with that in real time.
Perfect. Thank you.
I think to your example, because I've done this many times myself.
Okay.
One, looking at strengths, opportunities, or threats, right? The threat to the Portola site is actually the community garden. There is an opportunity for the district to partner with that community garden and relocate it to a different site. That would give them opportunities to improve their programming and free up the half acre to make that site more desirable. That requires work on the district's part to initiate that and try to facilitate that. They have plenty of sites. I talked briefly with the director. She was open to the idea. Ideally, they would like to stay. But I think from the district standpoint, a half acre of property in El Cerrito is worth a lot of money to the district. And the goal here and the primary function of this district is to support student education. So they can facilitate, this is an adult program, this garden, by moving it to the Alvarado school, the adult school, and maybe partnership there. And that garden actually is ideal for doing that because that site, that particular garden is about rain harvesting, and that site is set all asphalt. It's designed, you can collect the water. It works. It offers them classrooms. It's adult education, offers the potential of advertising, reprogramming, all that stuff.
So now do the strength and the weaknesses to the district. So what would be the strength in that district? What would be the strength of it?
Strength would provide more resources to the district. The weakness is, in my opinion, is that it's gonna cause aggravation, and it might cost the districts, because they wanna facilitate it, it might cost the district a little money to move them, right? Short term, long term, so.
I was gonna
And
say,
you have some comments?
A strength is the land value, very high land value.
Mhm,
And a weakness would be proximity to the fault
mhm.
and landslide.
And so what would be your opportunities and your threats?
Opportunities would be
Ms.
to,
Thomas?
opportunities would be, you have an opportunity to cluster development away from the red areas.
So this is an example of how this would work. And I'm only introducing this as a process, not to go through the process tonight. So this is just an introduction of the SWOT, and maybe have this committee vote when we come to these moments. Is this a process that you would like to utilize that will help the committee move the conversation forward? All right. As a tool to assist you. Is there anyone who believes this is not a good tool to use?
Well, I'll just say, I'm not convinced that we aren't working yet, such that we need that much process. We haven't really even gotten to anything disagreeing yet. We're still very exploratory. So while I've done plenty of SWOT analysis in my work, I don't necessarily know that I want to bind us to doing this if we all just get along and have great conversations. So we still haven't even done it.
So how long have you been on the committee?
This will be my third or fourth. I missed one,
Right.
but we've still not gotten to
But
substance.
do you know how long this committee has been formed?
Oh, I'm aware, but the problem with that has been the minutes, not the subject, not the substance.
Yeah, but the minutes, that topic you work through in the same fashion.
But we just got through it. You saw this group work great together.
Yeah, because this committee has been going on for years, correct? Right. Typically, they last just a few months. Right. Yes.
I think this helped. I've done SWOT analysis before. I think we're, even on our agenda today, we have action items to approve recommendations. We've had discussions about these sites, but they're just like list of notes. There's not actually an analysis with a conclusion. So I think some kind of framework that says, these are the pros and the cons of the different options, and this is what we think is the right answer would really help us. So I appreciate it.
Yes.
I'll add it also help with this, once we get to the point where this discussion with the public more like in depth on each site. So we need to, I think it would be a better way of presenting.
Absolutely. Because once we bring in a community, correct, you can identify your process. We saw this as a strength, this as a weakness, this is an opportunity, this is a threat. This is why we came to this conclusion. Because in essence, some of the community questions will be around how do you come up with this decision? He had his hand up first.
Okay,
I was gonna say that, this committee was tasked with two simple things. One is to figure out whether the property is surplus, and the other issue is to figure out what could be the best use as a recommendation. Not anything final, as a recommendation to the board,
Correct,
and that's it.
correct.
thank you. I'm sorry,
I was just calling on you because you had your hand up.
thank you. I said, no disrespect intended, you know, this is essentially your first time being with us. You're new to the district. Some of us, Mr. Sanders and I go back a full 4 years for DOGs, okay? And the reason this has lasted 4 years is not because we're not able to get anything done. We have actually had 3 separate variations of this committee. They had problems during the pandemic where committee members, after the governor says you will show up in person, says the hell I will. And so we didn't have enough people on there. And the board chose to remove it from 11 people down to 8 people, and then we didn't even have enough for quorum. Okay, and they waited a year or more and then appointed some new people on there. And we had some issues with somebody that the district had foisted on us to control the meetings and to write minutes and everything. And it was a little bit of disharmony on that. we lost membership, especially when we went below the required 7. Okay, and it took the district, when I say the district, the Board of Education took a very long time to appoint these new people on here. And we've only been meeting with this group since March. So Mr. Sanders and I, from the original, Mr. Rentila joined us in 2024. But it's not that, we're wasting our time in here. Well, we're going to get onto that, but we have not been able to sit down and meet with everybody. These new people have to learn what Mr. Sanders and I learned 4 years ago, and what Mr. Rentila learned 2 years ago. You don't expect them to just step in here and act like they've attended all the meetings and know what's going on. There's gonna be an educational process, and that's what we've been doing. It's been, as I said, outreaching to each other, trying to figure out what is going on.
Right, I mean, personally, from a personal standpoint, you look at the current recommendations that were written, it is basically do whatever. And personally, for me, I would prefer to have a more concise recommendation that I would make, rather than, oh, you can pick from this menu. Part of and our attorney disagrees with this. He basically just says, leave it up to the board to make a decision. The reason the committee is formed is basically to give the board the blueprint that they can then just go, yes, the committee did all this work and I don't need to think about it and can go move forward, right? And so we're at the point of, we were going to discuss at a couple last meeting or 2 meetings ago about these sites that we visited, but in my opinion, and I got other people to agree with that, we should look at everything holistically. So we still need to visit Harmon, Knowles, and Seaview to create our opinions and get some information from that. And probably after we visit that, there will be other questions that we have. One thing that came up at our last meeting is that the district has done a survey of staff based on employee housing. Well, now we are interested in learning the results of that survey, and it sounds like it's somewhat not complete. So who knows what the timing of that is, but I think that is kind of key information if we're going to make recommendations for a site. But other things come up as well, like for example, I would be curious to know what schools are people entering the district as new employees? Because the employee housing is probably going to be a better incentive for those employees. If the employees that are, all the new teachers that are coming into the district from outside the district, new teachers are working in the flatlands, then the new employee housing should be located closer to that, because that's where they're going to be working. So that's also information that we will have to get from the district. We haven't even been able to pose those questions, right? And so that has been a problem too. The previous committee had their ideas and thought processes, and this committee is totally different.
Okay. So that kind of information, I'm here to support the committee. Not to have an opinion, not to suggest what you do, strictly a support.
Okay.
So however I can support you, that's information you need, and I appreciate the history. This is just a support. And after talking to Mr. Sanders when we met, I'm just offering this as a support, not suggesting that you have to use it. What you need from me, I'm going to support this committee the best that I can based on what this committee needs. Right? That's what Ellen has been doing. She is so busy that we're splitting up committee. She's now going to focus on the bond oversight committee, and I'm going to focus on the this particular committee. But what we both do is strictly in a role of support. I think from one of the meetings I had with Mr. Sanders, I think some of the information was given to guide this committee to a particular answer. I'm not going to do that. Right. If you guys need the information from me from the district, I'm going to provide it. If you need a process, I'll help provide it. But I just want this whole committee to understand that whatever you need, I'm gonna support it and have no opinion. Because that's my role. I shouldn't have an opinion, correct? And I'm not going to.
That's not-
I was just gonna say, I think this is a really good tool, and I gloved on to your comment that, normally this process is very condensed. It doesn't take 4 years, it doesn't even take a whole year. So, I mean, if this is gonna help us come to a recommendation either by the next meeting or the meeting after, and then set the public hearings, I think anybody that, would find this useful should use it in their arguments in support or opposed to, a recommendation. So I wanted to thank you for this. I'm interested in big picture. How do we get to the finish line? Is the next meeting after we visit Seaview and Harmon, are we then prepared to make a recommendation? I would also, I'll just say it now, if there's a section on future meetings, I'd be interested in finding out information about the Fairview, Fairmont site and treating, if it should even be entertained. Information to determine if it should be entertained.
Sorry, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but we cannot build a school at the Portola site.
That wasn't the
I
proposal.
don't think she's proposing.
No, that's what Mr. Costa proposed.
No,
Fairview, swap, you said swap out from Fairview.
No,
No, he was proposing using the Portola site for a library. Library adjacent to Fairmont School is limited. And Fairmont School is impacted. So to move one to the surplus property and allow the other to expand into the library site will possibly, and I say possibly, relieve the overcrowding of the Paramount site. Did I hear that? Mr. Riccio?
I wanted to ask Mr. Hickey, so is the idea to have, 4 different, public meetings or one big public meeting for the 4 different properties?
I think it's up to this committee and I will support it.
Because they're all in different districts, right?
Yes, and whatever you decide, I'll support it. Mr. Sanders and I spoke of touring all 4 facilities.
Yeah.
Because some have not seen any, some have seen a few. This gentleman said no one's seen Harmon Knowles. So that may be one thing you want to consider is visiting all the sites. And the district will help set up those tours, whether we provide the transportation, whatever it takes, the logistics to make sure everyone tours the sites.
But I'm just curious about the public meeting. The public meetings, if we're holding one big public meeting for the 4 different properties, or if there'll be a public meeting in each district, like for example, Harmon Knowles is in District 4.
I think there's advantage to doing it either way. So what does this committee want me to support? Which one? One big one or 4 individual ones?
Or it's an agenda thing.
yes,
Yeah.
or 2. So.
We're still on way up here.
Yeah, right, I think we've jumped ahead to D3, and we're still on C1. Actually, I'd like to, if everyone feels like they have a full understanding of the SWAT tool, then we move on to C2 and discuss the arrangements for travel to Harmon Knowles and Seaview. And that, I believe, Mr. Contenzi, that would help with your goal, which is to have the committee fully informed about all 4 sites before we start making decisions. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, the days are getting shorter. The sooner we can do this visit, the better, because there's only so much daylight in a day.
You lose 1 minute of daylight every day until December 21st.
Okay?
No, serious.
I don't dispute, you know, I'm the son of a navigator. You can hold up his hand, look at the sun and tell me how long it was gonna take to, for the sun to hit the horizon. I don't dispute. Mr. Gosney, what's all?
Okay, on, as far as visiting these sites, because I've been to them countless times, we have visited the sites. Now Harmon Knowles, what is there to see? That, I mean, that you cannot see on your own, just drive by and look through the fence. It's covered on all four sides with a cyclone fence. You're gonna see the same thing we're gonna see if we make an organized trip there. With Seaview, it's not much different than that.
My perspective is that if you're there as a group, if questions arise, everyone can hear them and the answers can be provided. With respect to Harmon Knowles, you and I know that there is this, whole confusion of property lines, the park, which expanded into district property, and then, the property, of Harmon Knowles itself. There's an overlap. And on one side of that property is, multiple family housing, and on the other side of the property is single family housing, where the road is, you know, how accessible is it? So there are things that can be, understood by standing there as a group and having a common experience. So I know that for the two of us, much of it would be redundant. But for everyone else in this room, it's all new.
Not for me.
I apologize for excluding the redundancy. Mr. Kaczynski.
Well, Mr. Kellogg,
Mr. Kellogg.
So I'll just add that one of the things I really enjoyed about the last site tour we did is that the community turned out. During public comment today, we received some concerns that there's no public here. That meeting, we got public, and it was great to be able to hear and see their energy and what their concerns were. And I think having that outreach component makes them aware of what we're doing, and so that when we do the formal public meetings, they can be like, oh, we've seen these people before, we understand the way they operate. So it's a good PR, for lack of a better word. And it's another way to assess what the community is interested in doing in those spaces. So
I think also, and I think you should appreciate this, Don, because you often talk about this, is that the site walk is part of the public process of public meeting, as Mr. Kellogg said. But the thing too about going out there together as a group is that we are asking questions that we see and allows you to play off of. And also it allows, when you're there, for people who are new to the committee to ask the questions of what has already been asked, so that maybe we don't need to come back here to the meeting room and go, well, I was out there, I saw this, I have this question, when it was already asked and whatnot. And you can see and have a larger discussion, you know. It stinks that you have to drive back out there. I understand that drawback, but I think it's important to be open and transparent. And it allows the public to basically ask questions too.
Mr. Gosney, we put it to rest,
Sorry?
and we put your concerns to rest.
Well, I've expressed my concerns and just for options and discussions. I've heard what everybody said.
Okay. Ms. Thomas?
Just can we look for a date?
Absolutely. Bring in, break out your calendars. Two weeks from tonight is September 1st.
We were typically doing Monday nights. We have city council meetings, a lot of cities.
Or some cities.
All right, the 7th is Labor Day, is it not?
Yeah, what about the 14th or August 31st?
14th or August 31st?
are we giving up on August 24th already? Just, I mean, I realize it's only 5-6 days, but
We have to write a
We have to.
Agenda.
Oh, it's too good, thank you.
Post it, so. it's
yep,
not-
yep, fair enough, fair enough.
31st.
31st?
31st is fine.
31st is proposed. Mr. Kaczynski indicates yes.
Does that work for staff? September 31st.
Mr. Hickey, 31st.
It will work.
Thank you. All right, so the visitation meeting will be on, August 31st. Oh,
And we can meet up there.
and
Earlier,
we can, would you like to meet a half hour earlier,
I think we did the other ones at like 5:30.
5:30?
5:30.
So,
One of the problems with doing it at 5 o'clock, people are still at work. We want to get the community there, and we're sending out a message. Everybody that doesn't have a job is welcome. That's, it's a problem. We see that with public meetings all the time.
we split the difference at, 5:45.
Fine.
Okay, 5:45. And the choices are either Harmon Knowles or Seaview site. The closer one is Harmon Knowles.
I would request that we do Harmon Knowles first,
Okay,
and then could we talk about potentially using either Malthaven or Terra Hills as the meeting location afterwards? That's those are probably the two closest campuses to Seaview.
all right, should we allow either 30 minutes or 10 minutes, 45 minutes of Harmon Knowles? 30 minutes for Harmon Knowles and then the travel to Seaview. So the Seaview site would then be at 6:15. Know where the Embers restaurant is on Santa Avenue, third.